This is Wednesday, April 7th, ARC 21002. And today we are going to, I hope everybody had a nice break. I certainly did. And I'm all excited because the weather is getting better. Spring is finally here. I've received a whole bunch of picture perfects, and I want to touch on that before we get going on the tutorial 10, gorgeous birds, 5 techniques, demonstrate smart objects. And the 5 techniques that we're going to have to show for the project 3 type an image. Did I present this type an image project?
I don't think so.
Oh my God.
No? It says here on 324 I was to present this project and I didn't do it. I need a confirmation.
You asked and we all agreed to have it presented the week after vacation because we had to finish up Picture Perfect and Project 9.
Jana, thank you so much for reminding me. And so we'll present that as well. So first of all, I'm going to go to the, Dropbox. Everybody can see the screen. And looking at everybody that has submitted their Picture Perfect, and I haven't compared with the roster. So if you don't see your image here, you haven't submitted it. But my issue here is this 150 DPI versus a 300. My goal was to get you to submit a 300 DPI in a Dropbox and send me a lower resolution, say 150, to jhall@mmm.edu so that it would go through the email quicker. That was what, as I understood, my instructions were. Now, Jean A here sent me a 150 DPI to my email, jhall@mmm.edu, and submitted a 150 DPI here, but it isn't. It's 300 like I requested. So this is labeled wrong, but the submission is correct. I just checked that one. And I don't know if Andrea, if this is a 150 or a 300. It says it's 150, so let's.
That's a 150. I'll upload the 300 right now.
Okay, great. Because the 150, you get down a pixel. When you get close to it, it gets blurry. So it's very hard. You have to do any retouching. You have to have a high resolution, 300 or higher, so that the pixels are small and you can get in there and get that detail. So, Andrea, Ryan, do you know if this is 150 or 300?
I think it's 150, but I'm gonna go submit a 300.
Okay, so yeah, do so because I know you have a 300. And Jenny, what do you say about your 150 here? Is that 150 or is it 300?
I'm pretty sure it's 300.
Let's check. I asked because then we don't have to go through this time thing. It's 300. So it is submitted correctly, but labeled wrong.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. It's important to do these labels correctly because the way that you're labeling them is actually giving you information that you need to know. You have everything here except for the physical size. Everything else is there. And I wanted to show, Logan, is yours 300 or 150?
I'm not sure, honestly.
All right, so everybody, you need to know the size of your images. And so you should check each image when you open it up and when you close it up, image size, so you understand what it is. It's 300. but it's the size is wrong. It should be 11 by 8.5. Everybody's got to check this. This is like, is the wheels on your automobile, are the tires flat or not? You got to know this. So you have I believe the size of this individual image is 5 by 7, and then you move it over into an 11 by 8.5, and they fit 2 5 by 7. So you don't reduce the image, the original image. Do you understand what I just said, Logan?
No, not really.
All right. Do you know what size this image is originally? I'll go get it. Oh, I got to get out of here. We don't need to look at that right now. So I'm going to try to do this quickly. This is what we're going to work on right here today. So,
I have a question.
yeah,
So you also want us to email the project to you?
I want a low-res email of the project so I know you have put it in the Dropbox. That's the only reason why. And I'm not asking for the 300 because it's all that information I don't need. I'll go to the Dropbox to look at it. Does that make sense?
So you want me to email it to you?
If you haven't, because I don't know that you have it in the drop. I don't know that you've submitted it unless you email it to me. And I give you confirmation. Yes, I have received it. Like everything else we've done, right?
Okay.
I'm trying to. The reason for this is just to make sure that I don't lose things in the back and forth. So I've got to have it's like a return receipt, you know, at the post office.
Yeah, got it.
Same kind of thing. So here's the original image, and the image size is 5 by 7 at 300. This is what everybody started with when you started this. Now let's pretend that there is a photo retouched image on top of this. That's how I instruct you to do this project. So I'm going to go anew, and I'm going to go inches, and I'm going to go inches, and I'll go 11 by 8.5, and go create blank page. I'll bring this off. I will go over here and get this so that I can drag it on to the so that's my target. Command 0 puts it in the window. Oops. I'll put this back in application frame. Okay. Oh, I made a mistake. This here is, let me do it again. Oops. No, I'm going too fast. This image size is 8.5 by 300. Okay, so I'm going to go and do this again because I went too fast and it's easy to make a mistake. So you got to think about what you're doing. File, new, 8.5 by 11 by 8.5 by 300. So the resolution is equal across these two files. Now when I pull this in, it fits, and you've got a before here, and then you go to your flatten your image and pull up after over, and you go before after, and they fit into the frame just nicely at 8.5 by 11 by, and then you go before after, and check this. That's 8.5 by 11. Okay. and then you flatten it, file, save as, save name, RGB 300 PPI. You do that, and then you save it and take and put it in a Dropbox. I'm not going to do that, but and then you go image size, and this is only to, so I'm not getting a 24 megabytes sent to me. So watch this. I go 150. I've got 6 megabytes sent to me. You know, times how many students do I have? 20 some students times 20. This gets to be a lot of memory I don't need on my computer. Understand why I'm doing this? So that 150 goes okay, and then you save this file, save as, name, RGB 150 PPI JPEG 150. Okay, everybody understand that? Logan, you get that?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that was a little review. So if you don't, your resolutions aren't, so update this. So then you get a better grade, because if you can't command your resolution, I don't know what happened to my box. Maybe I don't need it now. If you know, you got to be able to understand that, how to do this resolution to be able to run the software. All right. Any other questions? No. No. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to say, give a call out here. So I want to go to the boss. Give a call out. Yay, Jenna, yay, Jenna. Look at that. Look at how good that is, everybody. So this can be done. I have never seen any hair so carefully crafted as this on this project. Yay, Jenna. Are you here?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. This is F. F. So a different toggling. That toggling is right down here to the, you can see the keystroke, F. That's on your final. So I can go down here by the standard. There's the standard. All right, good job. That is proof that it can be done. And when you have this skill, you have a real skill that you can use to make money. About that. All right. So now, any other questions on this? Ready to go to the next thing? Everybody? Tiffany, are we ready to go to the next thing? Yes, okay, thank you. All right, here we are, tutorial 10, gorgeous birds, 5 techniques. Open, and then I want to go I'm gonna go over here and shift. I'll open all these at once. Open. All right, they're all up here. And I want to, well, I gotta practice what I preach. I gotta show these channels at the same time as the levels. And this. I want to go to start, and maybe I pull that off so I can stack these. Oops. No, getting confused here. Here's a start. Pull that off and move my frame so I can move it over. And the stacking order, well, let me just move them over and restack them. Okay, I'm done with that. That's a fruit. Don't need that. There's a bird. Okay, don't need that. There's the other bird. Okay, don't need that. Here's the flowers. Okay, don't need that. Put this back into the frame. Get rid of that distraction. And go check, see what the image size is. Image size is 5 by 7 by 72. Oh, maybe that's it. I'm not sure. I don't want to go back here and look because I thought it was, this is, I'm going back to the start here. Open with Adobe Photo. Oh, no, it's 72 because it's a tutorial, but just for fun, I'll double check it. Open with Photoshop. I don't know why it's not opening. Oh, because I already have it open. All right, so this is 72 as our, I got all wrapped up in 300 DPI, and I forgot that I was working on a tutorial, and all the tutorials are 72, 8 by 5 by 72, good enough. All right, so now the stacking order, and I have a couple of demos, and that one I just did last week, and I think it's really a good demo. So that's what we're aiming for, and it could be that. I'm going to float that over here so I can glance at it, so I don't say anything wrong. Or it could be this. Open with Photoshop. There's two versions, and I'm going to talk about how to handle typography, different ways to handle typography. That's what all this is. But you know, in the end, we'll do one of these. And so let's get going. Oh, let me see. There I am. All right. The stacking order is this. I've got this demo over here on my other screen. So I'm going to kind of toggle back and forth, make sure I do things. It's duck, bird, fruit, flowers. All right, let's try that. Duck, bird, fruit, flowers. Starting with the duck. Now, there's the duck. And the first thing we're going to do is talk about smart filters. The duck, if I were to pull this duck in from the desktop, it becomes a smart filter. If I don't, as I think people have done, here's my name. I'll pull that in just for fun, just to and go return. You see that icon right there? That's a smart filter right there. So I'm going to get rid of that because I was just doing a demonstration. So I can put it in the garbage right here. So that's not a smart filter. So I got to go to layer, smart objects, convert to smart object. Now it is very important to know that, because there's things that I can't do with smart objects. What are those things? It's not that now I can't remember what I can't, but there's things you can't do when you have a smart object. But what you can do, you remember that we have learned adjustment layers, layer, new adjustment layers, layer mask, where you can reveal, you can hide things in the layer mask, or you can change color in the layer mask. But up until now, when you did a filter, you had to go do the filter, motion blur it, and now this is a smart object. Let me do this. Let me do it to the bird, just as for a demonstration. Here is this bird, and if I do a filter, motion blur, you see right here that filter is applied to this layer, and I can't undo it. Only Command Z or go to histories. There, I can't use it as a mask because there's no mask there, like adjustment layers, layer masks. Everybody remembers what those are because we're going to use them. It's done. Up until now, that has been something I can't undo until I go to histories. And if I save it, it's there for sure. But now that I got a smart object, I can go to filter, blur. Oh, let me get off the right, get it on my layer with a smart object. Filter, blur, motion blur. And there you see it shows up. Oh, there you see it shows up underneath as, and that is a mask. And there you can see the mask in the channels as masks show up, layer mask, regular mask, layer mask, adjustment layer mask, that, and that's with the motion blur. And that is the smart filter. I can turn that off. So we could not do that until now. Yay, we can do that. And I can use this as a mask. So I want to see the bird's head. I'm going to go over here and go to the mask and make, I'm going to go to my bracket keys because that's how I don't have to go up here to do this. I can just use my bracket keys and make this bigger. And I got a fuzzy edge here, which is good. And I can bring that back. Fabulous. There's a mask. There's a mask. That's just what I just did. I can bring that back. And is that what did I do here? Duck, smart filters. This is the demo, mezzotint. So I put a mezzotint on it. So I'm going to go back over here and say, what if I have a motion blur and a mezzotint? Filter, noise, not noise. Where was the mezzotint? Pixelate, mezzotint. All right, fine dots, long lines. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what that looks like. Motion blur, long lines, smart filter, motion blur. Command Z. Oh, let me see. I think I am learning something here. I thought I could do more than one filter on this. Noise. Add noise. Yes, you can. I don't know why that motion blur didn't work. So you can do that. That other what that other one. Let me try it again. What was it? Filter, pixelate, mezzotint, long lines. Oh, isn't that funny? It didn't work. There it is. Last time I did it, but now it works. So there's a mezzotint. There's the motion blur. The blur is going here, and the mezzotint is kind of canceling it out. There, I changed the order here, and that works better. So the motion blur is on top. So you can do a couple here. There's the motion blur. There's a mezzotint. There's a motion blur. There's a mezzotint put together. That's a smart filter turned off. Fabulous, right? Anybody got any thoughts on that? Do you understand that? Blank. I need a hands up or something.
I tried to do the mezzotint and it's not as like the lines aren't as smooth. You did long lines, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't, you can do any of these.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't matter. There's fine dots. I like those lines better. Long strokes. You can do experiment with all this. I'm not, and anything what I'm trying to get you to do the technique, not any version of the technique. I'd rather you experiment with it, right?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Thank you. Thank you for speaking up. So the next thing is modes. We're doing the 5 techniques. Oh, let's look. Well, I'll do the modes. I'm going to go over to layer, the bird layer, V for my move tool, because I don't want to be in another tool when I'm just selecting things. And so we got smart filters. That's one. We've got modes. Here's modes. Modes show up in a whole bunch of different places. So I'm just going to go through here and see what works the best. Color burn. I'm doing my arrow keys. Vivid light. I kind of like linear light. So I'm exploring what all these things do. These little bars here divide subsets of modes. I'll do hard light, and I don't want my one bird on top of the other, so I will edit, transform, flip horizontally. There, I got the birds facing the same way. And that right there happens to be a watermark. And we could get rid of that watermark. I'm gonna go take this mode off. Just show you can combine your techniques. This is picture perfect technique by just going and getting rid of this watermark. And of course I could get in there and make it perfect, but let's not spend our time doing that right now. Not because I'm trying to do modes. And what did I do? Hard light. There we go. That still bothers me, but I won't go do that. You could do that if you'd like, because we've got techniques we're learning here, the 5 techniques, modes, smart filter, and now we're going to go up here and do a layer style with a layer mask. So I'm going to go up and get to the fruit and move the fruit over. this up a little bit. Bring this down so I can see it. And I want to eliminate this fruit. So there's a whole bunch of different ways we know how to do that now, and I'll go through a couple of them just for review. All right, let's see what the selected mask, how that works. That's that module where you have you go into different tool sets and I wonder if this object thing would work. If I go through all of it and see what that does. It doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. So, quick selection tool. You're wondering why I'm not saying anything? Because I don't know what's going on. That's why. Option. I had to put my option, do my option key to get the minus to make this work. And this is kind of working, but it's not it's kind of clunky to do this. I've got my options key down. See that minus? And then option. Uh-oh. Shift. The shift key makes the toggles it. So to plus to minus. And so I could get in here real closely and do that, but I just want to see how this works because I want to do this more in one way. Output to layer mask. That's what I want. Now, do I remember mask areas indicates mask areas, indicates selected areas. And I think it's masked areas that I want to get rid of. But I get confused now and then. And I go, okay. And it worked. There's my layer mask. Yay, that worked. If it didn't work, I'd have to fix it. So what I want to do is do it another way. Delete layer mask just to demonstrate this. Not so there I'm back to that. The bird's underneath this layer. And now I'm going to go over here and let's just try, I'm just doing this to try it without that mode and see if this works here. No. So that object can only do one object at a time. Magic wand tool, let's try that. Tolerance 20, it's only white, and this contiguous is clicked off, but it really doesn't matter because this white is contiguous all the way around. So let's click it on and see what happens. Perfect. So that's the better solution, better than this select and mask solution, and better only because it's quicker. So now I can go layer, layer mask, reveal all, and there I am. Now I got my foreground background colors black and white. That's either filled 100% or not filled. And there's the mask, hit delete and nothing happened. Of course, we know we've got to hit the X key to toggle this foreground background color, hit delete, and that's what we got. Command D, yay. Now there's a couple different ways to do this. And I showed you a couple of different ways, but there's more than two. But we found the best way. That's the most important. And now I got to go, oops, Command Z, X to cut away. And I could go in here and clear this up, make this work better by just erasing it, because I'm working on the mask, and there's the mask right there. And I'm just erasing it. And everybody knows what I'm doing. We've done this. So this is just a little bit of a review. And of course, if I get up closer, space bar, If I get up closer, I can do a better job. And make it look beautiful. Now, this is very important for the project that I'm going to present after this, that you do have good craftsmanship, because if you were doing, this was going to be an illustration from a publication magazine or something like that, you'd of course you'd want it to be as good as you could do. And that's the idea of this project that's coming up, using these 5 techniques, but I don't have to do that here because I'm just working on the tutorial. But I'm giving you that kind of indication of what it would look like. Anyway, so that's that mask. This is where we got right here. And of course, I'm covering up the bird's head and stuff. And I can't help myself. I don't want to go down and fix this here. But maybe that'll get off the page because I'm going to move this down so I can see my little birdies. That right there was off the page when I made the mask. So I can go down here, make sure I'm on that mask, hit delete, X, delete. There, I've masked that white out. Of course, you don't need to look at the mask to do that. I just did that so you know what's going on. So there's the birdies. And maybe I want to move these birds up a little bit. Shift, go to both, select both layers with the shift key, and move those up a little bit. Then I've got room down below, just because I'm making a composition. And that's part of the game here is to make a composition, make an artwork. That's what we're coming up to next, making an artwork. Now, so I've got a layer mask, and layer style. That's what I got to remember that. So I'm going to put a layer style on this one. So layer style. What should it be? Outer, inner shadow, inner glow, outer glow. What color? Not green, some other color. So we can see it. Blue. Blue. Okay. Darken, normal. There's the modes again going on. So you got all your modes going on. And it looks like that. Wow, why does it look like that? Why does it look like that? Oh, I'm on the mask. See that? And so it's doing it here. I wanted to do it to the object itself. So I got to go to the, cancel this. I got to be on the image itself. Now let's try it, see what happens. Layer, layer style, outer glow. Blue. My screen's not big enough. Opacity, noise, size. Oh, I gotta go okay. I'm not getting much going on here. No, it's not that. It's right here. Spread. Size. Mode. Oh. Same thing. So what's happening, folks? What's happening?
Mine worked.
Yours works?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Why doesn't mine work?
Maybe it's from when you selected the edge when you tried to move it and you deleted the edge. I don't know.
Layer style. I'll try something else. Bevel and emboss. There's blue. There's a highlight mode. That one's working. Chisel hard. Chisel soft. That one's working. All right, well, that's supposed to work there, and it is. Let's cancel that. I want to try it one more time because one thing I hate is to have the computer tell me what to do or not understand something when it layer style. Feel like I am, what was I doing? Outer glow. Like I have not, now it's working. Ryan, why did that happen?
No idea.
So there I have a feeling of accomplishment because I figured it out. And to just say, oh, I can't figure that out, let's try to do something else, that I just don't ever do. I try to figure it out. Sometimes I have to go back. I've been learning this 3D animation program on that's what I did over my spring break. And sometimes I got so, like, I can't figure this out. Well, how does this work? So I quit. And then and it's happened more than one time. And I come back to it and I figure it out. So sometimes you have to just give yourself a break. And there's something about the psychology, human psychology. You come back and all of a sudden, oh, I understand how that works now. So there's two different ways to do that. Or you just hit your head on the keyboard until you figure it out. So at any rate, there we go. Yay! We got I got effects drop shadow. Is that what I wanted? Effects. Let's go. That's a drop shadow. I don't know if I want that. Let's try it. I'm gonna go back up here. I thought it was drop shadow, outer glow is what I was trying to do. Double click there and go back to my normal so I can see what it looks like normally. Take my size down. Spread. Oh, no. Ryan, I think this time I quit hitting my head on the keyboard and I got to take a break and come back and see if to make this work. Ryan, did you make this work, outer glow?
Yeah, I have outer glow on mine.
And I can't get that size down to any lower than 1. And everything else.
Maybe, did you do it with the opacity on the mask down or something? Because there might still be like a faint white background on everything.
I think that might be it. Let's take a look at RGB. This, I'm on the mask. I'm clicking the mask. I'm just checking my mask out. I'm going to click that, and it's 100% black because what Ryan just said is that mask could have been that gray, and it would be pushing that effect through something that's not 100% black. So I went to the mask, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the mask and I checked it out, and the problem isn't the mask, but that was good. But it really, what it shows you, kind of a lousy job I did in making this mask with this stuff. We won't worry about that. But that's how you try to deconstruct an issue that you have. Why is it working this way? Well, right now I got a drop shadow. We'll go past that because Ryan solved it, and it might be this today. It might. What I'll do is I'll go on, and after class I'll come back and work at it, see if I can figure that out. Anyway, you don't have to do this drop, this outer glow. I just picked that. You can try any of these when you're doing this layer style. Okay, everybody all right with that? Ryan, are you all right? Can I go on, Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay. There, that flower is so big that because the options scroll out, edit, transform, scale, or Command T, that's how big that image is. This was way too big for this file, which is saying it's probably 300 DPI. But I can scale it down, and that is rescaling the resolution as well because it is in a 72 DPI document. I can scale that down, and I scrolled out so I could get those boundary box. See, I don't have them here, so I got to scroll out, and then I come down and I'll return, and there I have it, and I want to pull this down so I can see the little birdie's heads and check and see what I did on this one. This is layer mask. So we'll just do this since we knew that this worked so well. Now I want contiguous click. No, I don't want it click because I want to get in here and in here. So I'll unclick it, and that means that it takes tolerance of 20 pixels. Now that could be probably 10 because it's just white. And I'll click it, and it'll take everything here. Oh, didn't get this, so I have to hold my shift key down. There, it got everything. Except for over here. Hold my shift key down. That wasn't so bad. It got all of that. Now I'm going to go layer mask, reveal all. And again, with regards to what is on the top and bottom, when I hit delete, it's either going to cover it up or it will reveal it, keep it revealed. Hit delete, and I know that now I got to do that, which is the keystroke with X, and there I got it set. Command D, and there is my flowers, and we want to go a layer, new adjustment layer, and pick any of these you want. I'm going to pick hue saturation because it's easy, quick, and dramatic. I'm going to click this use previous layer to complete clipping mask onto that layer. Go OK, and there is my hue saturation. I'm going to change the color of the flowers to something else. Blue. And of course, the saturation and the lightness and the tint. This is what we did in Picture Perfect. And there's the layer mask. And now I'm going to use this mask to cut through it so I can see some red flowers below it. Or I could go and use a brush, or I could do a gradient, and I got to make this gradient. I want this gradient to be basics, just black to white, and I'll use this radial, and which we did in Picture Perfect, and see what this looks like. Yeah, it's interesting. Let's make it bigger. Beautiful. So there we go with that, and that is one version of one of my demos. That's what we're doing. We're going to get to this in a second. That's what we're doing here. Get to this in a second. So it's a version of this, but we have this here that I just discovered recently, and it's really interesting. And what's happening here is that there's what we did, the gradient, and there is the flowers, but the flowers are clipped by the fruit. There's the fruit. They're clipped right here, that little clip. Now, if I go layer, create clipping, let me see. Create clipping mask. I don't want to do that because I want to, so I'm going to do the keystroke here. That's option keystroke, and that's going to declip this. And so there I have flowers above the fruit. And if I go here and it de-clicked the gradient as well because it's over everything now, but we'll not take that on in a minute. So what I want to do is go here. I can't remember what order it is. That's that one or this one. We'll find out. Layer, create clipping mask, and it was the one below it. So I'm going to go Command Z. Let's try here. Layer, create clipping mask. There, fabulous. And now there's that gradient, and I want to clip that to this. So I'm going to use a keystroke, which is what I use. So sometimes I can forget where it is. But there, I got the gradient going on. Within, it's clipped to this flower that's clipped to the fruit. Fabulous, interesting. Let's try it here. So layer, create clipping mask, Command Z. Oh, this is clipped. So I'm gonna go, this is at the top one. See, I did it wrong again. Create clipping mask. Fabulous. That worked fabulously. Does that make sense to everybody? Tiffany, does that make sense to you?
Yes.
I have a question.
Okay, shoot.
How did you get the hue and saturation to clip to the flowers?
This is, I'm going to undo the hue and saturation by holding my Option key down, and I get a little, let's get up close to it. I hold my Option key down. See that little cross?
Yeah.
That's going through that arrow. That says I want to do it up here. I'm going to unclip the hue saturation layer from the image. And now that hue saturation, oops, control, this is push this back. And 0, control. That hue saturation is going through over everything because it's not clipped, right?
Yeah.
So if I clip it, layer, create clipping mask, there it's going only on the flowers because of that little down arrow. And that flowers is going only to the fruit, right? There you can see it, blue, blue. This is radial mask, so the mask is right there. Make sense to everybody? Jana, does it make sense to you?
Yes.
Thank you. How about Jana,
I have a question.
Tiffany?
Yeah, for the duck.
The duck.
Yeah.
What about the duck?
I'm kind of confused on why is it green because of the it looks like
Because the mode, it's this mode. That mode
okay.
is making it green. See, I'll go down here to something else. Hard mix. The mode on the bird.
On the other bird.
On the bird above it. So
Okay.
that these mode works between two layers, and it's a combination of various algorithms of hue, saturation, and value, which is the color, and they're blending them together in different ways. And that's why it's green, because at the top layer is green, and it's blending to this dark layer. And depending upon the two colors, you'll get different results. Although screen will always be lighter, overlay will always be darker in some relationship. And so you need to go, and you could drill down on this and look every one of these up and get a very detailed explanation of what they're doing. But that's not what this class is about. This is an introductory class. So I don't want to get too technical, and in fact, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. What exactly why these are doing these things, but they are, and you can use them. All you have to do is toggle through them, and that one's pretty interesting right there, right? So, but I did. What did I do? I don't remember what I did now. I did pin light. I don't know. Screen. Which one do you like? Hard light. That's what I did. But you can do whatever you want. I just want you to explore it. Any other questions?
So we can use any of those smart filters that you.
Any smart filter you want, any layer style you want, any mode you want.
Okay, thank
I
you.
want you to experiment, have some fun, and see if you can do this clipping technique as well. Because that's really, you can see how you can really customize your imagery. So you're now advanced Photoshop users, and you can make these customized things that are very interesting. So this is tutorial, and I'm going to go over here and review, look at, 1 second, see where the 5 techniques. These are the 5 techniques that you're going to demonstrate with this tutorial and the project that you're coming up to doing. Layer masks, layer styles, adjustment layers, smart objects with filters, and modes. And I think I got them all right here. Anyway, so this is, this is just kind of threw something together, but it looks pretty good. I like it. Just a, anyway, so there you go. Are we done with this? Any other questions on this? Kevin, how you doing out there in the world?
I'm good.
Thank you. Those are encouraging words. Oh boy. Okay. All right, then we're done with this, right? Jenna, right? Jenna?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, good. All right. What's next? I'm gonna save this because I like it. What's next? Let's take a look what's next here. Here's our syllabus. What's next is presentation, this presentation. Presentation of Project 3 Type and Image Montage Illustration. It's 8.5 by 11, resolution 150 RGB. And I'm going to go over the syllabus. I'm in the syllabus. I'm going to go over to and Project 3 Type and Image Montage Illustration. It will be a composite image of 4 or more photographs, inclusive of typography. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Typography. So let's go back and talk about this typography. I forgot to do that. I think it's right here. Inclusive of typography, because we are concluding type and image is one of the most important problems for designers, not necessarily photographers, but designers, because how do you combine the type with the image? And here's our image. And this is a don't do this. And the reason why is because your eye comes from, I'm talking about typography now as it will apply to the project that I'm in the middle of presenting. So I'm going back to this to demonstrate it so you can see it. Your eye goes left to right. Don't stack letters ever unless you're not in the English language. Or the letters you stack is D-A-R, and that's all. because then you can read that in a glance. But anything else, don't do that. And one thing, there's two different ways to go down a road of relating typography to an image. And of course, there's untold solutions within those two different ways. One way is to make a graphic container. And that graphic container right there happens to have a mode on it, so it's kind of, you can see through it, which makes it interesting. And then you can, oh, where is it at? Where's it at? You can put the type within the container so it relates somehow to the edges of the container. And I put a bunch of layer styles on here on this type, just to show you that, again, that you can do layer styles on a type. I'm not sure those are so great, but at any rate, there's a bevel on here and a little outer glow. Yeah, the outer glow worked here. How come it didn't work before? I don't know. So that's one way, one thing you can do. And then another thing you can do is make the type relate to the image. So there, the type is relating to the blueberry flower. You can do this, and maybe that needs a layer style on it to make it pop out. Layer style, drop shadow, and I'm going to go do this drop shadow spread distance. Make it brighter. Okay. I want to use sharper. Blend mode normal. So I took all this down to make it a sharper drop shadow so you could read it. Made that look this light as the yellow. You could read that pretty better. That was so anyway, that was why I just did that. So I could pull off of the strawberry here. Do this or this. So like this type here is relating to the edge of this block. This type here is relating to the edge of this block here, the edge of the picture plane. I would not advise things so much like, well, that's all right, but the corners are very tricky. You know, something like this, let me see, or this, get there. Edit, transform, rotate. This, something like this is very problematic because you see how your eye is forcing your eye to the corner. So be careful of the corners. Don't do that. Do this, or better yet, do that. And there's also another thing I want to talk about in terms of typography, where the relation to the type to the image is should be considered, because right now this is all, you see the type first, and then you see the image, right? So you've got to take that in consideration. Do you want that? This would be interesting if I clip this type like I did this clipping thing down here. If I clip the type to the, so you wouldn't see the type, you'd see the image through it. I think we did that with the climate change. But I'm seeing a type first. Do I want that? That's a question that is answered specifically to each of your projects. Or do I want it small? Maybe I want it so small that it is, you've got to look for the type. So now with something like this, the type is, the image is dominating the type. That's a decision you need to make. And with that, these, how the type is handled, whether it's in a container or it is rounded, and this rounding thing I gotta highlight it, the type. That's all of this up here. It's on it when you highlight, when you're in the type tool, highlight the type, you have all of these all this stuff here. So that's my type demonstration, because this is very much about design and photography and painting with photographs. And any questions on that? We'll go back to this. Yes? No? There are two basic approaches to the artist may take regarding typography. I just explained that. And I explain it here in words. Transparency, the type could be transparent or clipped. And I did explain all that. And you can download from the web using imagery that has not been digitally altered or transformed. So you want to use a straight photography as much as you can. You can use your own artwork, not anybody else's, illustrations, paintings, if you so choose, or your own photographs, or photographs that are downloaded from the web. And of course, we went over trying to download as high resolution as possible so that when you scale it up, it will not get pixelated. You have some very pixelated, chunky photographs that will affect your grade, and not in a good way. So try to get sharp photography like I have done with the birds and the flowers. Give evidence you have mastered these 5 techniques: layers, adjustments, modes, layer masks, filters, and the clipping layer. But that I'm not gonna. That's not a directive. The directive here is this bold right here. That's the directive. And choose one of the following concepts to illustrate. So I'm giving you a structure that you can come up with your own imagery to address a corporation offers many services. And I set keywords here, or key phrases: dynamic, bringing together different elements and getting things accomplished quickly. Use at least 4 images. And what are these images going to be? Industrial and technological, pharmaceutical, transportation. Now this whole thing comes out of a project I did a number of years ago, and inspired this school project that we're doing right now. Here's the words: acquire, build, invent, transform, create, change. I'm going to demonstrate this, my solution to this directive that came from the corporation. So I just made it into a project for us. Or you can do a magazine, how to network for professional success. And there's the following words could be these keywords: teamwork, coordinate, organize. And then what kind of imagery are you going to use to do that? There's some suggestions here. Of course, you can change these if you want, but you need to have 4 images and 3 words. 4 images, 3 words. 3 words. Or a magazine needs an illustration, a story about dreams. And this tends to be very surreal imagery that comes back when students address this. Could be figurative, realistic, surreal, abstract, disparate images. 4 images. You can choose the images from your own dreams. Use 3 of the following words, and there's a bunch of words there. So how about that? Everybody get that idea? Tiffany.
Do you have a, can we see an example?
Yeah, I'm going to show you an example right now. Any other questions before I show an example? Nobody has any other questions? Here's an example. My example. So this is coming from, where'd it go? This is coming from an annual report for a bank. And I have in my office in school, I've got the book. I'd say, here's the book, here's where the type went. This is the imagery I did. It gave to a design firm that then put the type in on top of this imagery. And this is the first the first proposal number 1 in the syllabus. And so this is the here, I'll show you this first. Command colon. That is the grid. You wonder, why did you do a hand grid when we did the grid project, the first painting project with the, I made you pull grids out. Well, this is why, because the grid is custom, because there was type that went in here, and I had to know where the type went. I had to know where the spine was, and so this is all custom. So I built this grid to align things, and also I'm aligning the grid to the, or the imagery to the grid here, almost there, but there, and there's a kind of imagery grid going on here. Anyway, so that's a grid. Command colon, and here is the image deconstructed, which you're going to do. That's background there, the background. You're going to do. Let me see. Let me get here. I'm looking at the syllabus now. This project is due on 4/21, and we'll have the opportunity. You will have the opportunity to present what you have done to the class next week. Before, in the following week, then you will submit it. That's our goal. So we'll see how far you get between now and next week. This is the first image that I used. They're all images here that I used correspond to my example in the syllabus of the first proposal. There's a layer mask, and I blurred it and put a layer mask on it. A layer mask on it. And here is the mask right there, just to see where it goes. Very painterly approach. And I added on I'm making a compositional concept that goes for it, so it goes from left to right. And I this is a little bit literal. I made it less literal by blurring it and masking out those people, or those people. That would be these people right here, because I double that to make it less literal, more abstract, which it is. But as you notice, the content still carries corporate people walking in a corporate setting. And that's what's important, not them specifically. But this was needed to be specific because that's kind of their client thing. But I went and I put a hard light on it, and then also used a little bit of mask here to make it a little more see-through. There is the global concept, which is blending, because this has an overlay mode on it. Normal looks like that. Overlay is much more interesting. So these modes I capitalized on because they're fabulous. That was a little weak, so I punched it up. There's a mask on both of these. So it looks like that. Punched it up, doubled it, and overlay two overlays that actually add up to be more vibrant. So that was just a technique that I used. And I put the top on the globe, and then there are these, the composition starts to come together where this line comes in here and it picks up, curves up to the pharmaceutical stuff. So your eye is curving upwards. And this right here is a communication tower, which I very meticulously did a mask on. This is where, masking comes in. That took a lot of time to do that. So I saved that. That's the only mask that's saved as, that's not a layer mask, but it's saved in the channels palette because of this, all the time I spent in cutting that out. So I saved it there. And I applied it here. Where am I? Okay. There, okay, I was right there. I'm adding a little bit more of that tower, and there's the rest of the tower, and it has a gradient on it, so it blends into the curvature here. And now I'm getting into another little device down here, doubled up to, and now I'm getting into the letters. Build, screen, you can see the photos through it, and then I duplicated it, screen, to just double up the vibrance. And then I went and put a corporate color on there to even everything out. And that was a little flat, so I did a little variation of that with hue saturation. And that's a mask. And so it's bringing two kind of a ultramarine blue and a cerulean blue tints of blue together. And there is another piece of type that has blended with a little brown thing. I did a print and it was too dark, so I put in levels with no clipping here, so it goes through everything. And there's change, blue, kind of making it look a little glimmery. Create, and all of these, not all of them. That's a screen, that's a screen, that's normal, that's a screen. So there's no method here. It's other than the guide, it's the underlying guides. It's a back and forth kind of a creative method that is trial and error until you like something. Invent, IM, and here we got modes. I'm using lots of modes. Transform, and making words go together as in compositional fashion. So I'm activating the words. They're just not saying something. They're being made as like objects that relate to the imagery. The way I'm relating I'm using that way of relating to the imagery, that it blends, the words blend in, and they go with this kind of grid. See, I split that half. So they're going this way, they're going left, right, and up, down, and they're kind of like framing the center of this. There you go. Tiffany, how'd I do? Eleanor, how'd I do?
Looks good. I feel like it'll take some trial and error on my end, though.
Yeah, well, this took trial and error on my end as well. I mean, it's not, and that's the fun of it, isn't it? It's not, that's what's fun, is trying it out, making something. And it's part of it is trying to finesse it. You try to make it subtle and finessed, or you don't. If you want to be something, like a punk band guy, you might want to make it really loud and clashy, and that's okay. That works if it is consistently loud and clashy. You know what I mean? So whatever direction you want to go into, is you're like being a painter with photographs. So any questions? Is everybody all right out there? Tiffany, are you back? No, I guess not. Jenna, thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. I know that I'm communicating. That's the problem with Zoom. You don't know if you're communicating or not. So you need a little back and forth going on. So where are we here? I'm coming back to my syllabus. Coming back to my syllabus here. Presentation of case study did that. Presentation of glorious birds did that. And that's today, folks. Unless you have something else you want to talk about.
I have a question.
Did you watch my case study presentation? Because you asked about it. Did you watch this?
This?
Yeah.
No, I was watching this.
Okay, good. Thank you.
No, I have a different question.
Okay, what is it?
So I sent you the first two projects because I didn't know we were supposed to email them. I just submitted them on the box. So I
Well, I
emailed
don't know that I got them then.
Well, I just emailed them to you a little while ago because I didn't know.
Well, send me an email that you sent the projects, look to the box. You're supposed to send them as the resolution called for. Well, let's go to the box and just check it out. If you don't send me a notification that you have submitted your projects into the box, I may not know. That's why I'm asking for a low-res file sent to me of your submissions. So let's just check it out since you asked, and then everybody else can look at what they've got in the box as well, so you know this is where you are. And I'm going to correct these and send you a printed out. Is this Tiffany? Are you in here?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm-
okay. Are you all, there you go. This is April 5th. Today is April 7th. So you submitted that April 5th. What did you submit today?
I emailed you the two projects because I didn't email them before.
All right, well, great. I'll get to the email and I'll give you a return receipt. Perfect. I'm gonna go and by the end of the week, you will get your grades that on all of these projects. The picture perfect, okay? That's my goal. All right, folks, are we done? Any other questions, stories?
Thank you.
All right, then if nobody else wants to talk about the spring break or anything, see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. See you next week, everybody. Have a good week. Bye.